Why do we fall, sir? So that we learn to pick ourselves up. This is a dialogue that is very close to my heart and is the first thing that comes to my mind when I see this picture. Obviously, I'm a self confessed fan of this trilogy and of the director, but I think somewhere the filmmaker missed a trick. In the context of our lives, this dialogue could have been better. Let's do this again. Why do we fall, sir? So that we learn to pick ourselves up and have fun in the process. That is what I'm here to talk about. Having fun. But what makes me qualified to talk about it or to question this legendary filmmaker, you ask? Well, I've made a fair share of mistakes in my life. Some smaller ones, others rather embarrassing. And over the course of 3 organizations that I've worked with and went on to start one of my own, I feel I've done enough to talk about fun. And so I thought, how do I start? How do I make it visible as to how fun can be had? And the best thing I thought, let's start with an analogy. So what you see on the screen is a mountain. Has one of you ever thought about climbing a mountain? How would it feel? Adventurous? Scary? Anxiety will set in? So let's do this. Let's close our eyes for a moment and think. Standing at the foothills of the Himalayas, what would you see? Snow-capped peaks, one taller than the other, maybe one in the distance with clouds hovering that you're not able to see. Well, that was me back in 2015 in my summer internship, where I had put that pressure on myself that I have to score a PPO or a pre-placement offer. Now, what made this peak so hazy, you will ask? So I was interning with this tech giant and my project details said digital content marketing and employer advocacy. Mind you, I'm still talking about 7-8 years back, where our dream is to be in an FMCG company or a consulting company, grow through sales and become a brand manager. So here I am in Bangalore, suit up, tense, but not wanting it to show to the world that I am very tense. Finding my way to the desk in office and realizing that my coffee had a prelude filter to it in that part of the country. So the internship started. And to be honest, I began well. My then project mentor really liked the way I had worked up the initial part of the project. But that is when it hit its standstill. Nothing was moving. There was no employee advocacy on social media. The summon was due and it came in. What are you doing? He asked. Clueless, I had no answer. Fire in the belly is missing, said. Fire in the belly. And here I am, a young man, thinking these were 2 months I had to learn. I had these 2 months to make sure I have a job in hand. And I don't think I'm doing it right. But then he said something that stays with me even today. Campaigns and short stints are very similar, he said. I thought, how is that? There are multiple moments where you touch base with your audiences or your stakeholders during the length of the campaign or your stints. But there are only some high points. These are called memorable moments. Memo is what he called it. So I had to look for my memo. That light bulb in my head had lighted up. What could be my memo? How can I make that difference? Beg, borrow, plead was one option. Go, please like the campaign posts. Go, please like, share the posts. That was one option. The second option was interaction. And I took that path. So I created what used to call a booth back then with all the social media logos on it and put it in the center of the office. But this was usual. What's the magic in it? Around that booth, we crafted a day. It was called Social Action Day. SID. Said. That was my memo. Or so I thought. Everyone joined into that SID booth. The PPI did not seem too far now. But like most stories, this does not end here. Fast forward 5 years, my current organization, This one had just acquired a company, and this company was in assessment space. Now, what's assessments? What they do is link up students who are looking for jobs to companies who are looking for such students. Such a boring space. How some magic be created out of it? But my boss wanted it. And memo came back to my life. What could be one moment in the life of a student which he or she will throughout her life? First job is what we thought. That feeling of getting a job, going to office on the first day, getting the first salary credited message, getting the first paycheck in hand. That was our memo. And that was the campaign we built. This campaign was a huge success. It was called the First Job Talks. Who had thought a fun exercise in the marketing internship of a young guy could define the positioning of a company? But that is how life is. One other thing about life is it also moves on. So back in my B school, after that lovely internship that I had had, waiting for my interview to happen, something else happened. The interview results were in. I had a job in hand. The telco with a pug had hired me. And I was over the moon. I was ecstatic. For the right reasons too. I had imagined myself to be in boardrooms. The global MNC is hiring me, sitting there, suit up, chatting about strategy is what I had thought in my heads. But this was until 3 days before my joining date came an email. Siddharth Grover, you're going to Jharkhand. And my dreams were shattered. And so were the glasses in the boardroom of my imagination. But like we always do, we pick ourselves up. So the journey started to Jharkhand. I landed up in Ranchi. And on my first day to my workplace, I caught the glimpse of an ex-skipper outside his house and thought to myself, this trip is a 50% success already. Let's see what the rest 50% had in store. Once in office, the state head said, hi Siddharth, good to meet you. But you're going to a city called Dhanbad. The only thing I knew about Dhanbad until then was that there is coal. So, as we always do, we pick ourselves up and board that into Dhanbad. Once in Dhanbad, I thought, this is it. This is where it is going to be. The zonal head had other plans. He told me, there is a problem area in our zone where the sales are low, market share is low, and we needed a management approach to solve it. First thing I asked, what is this region, sir? Wasipur, he said. My jaw dropped. Is this even real? I had thought. For the longest of time, I believed this was an imaginary town that was set in that movie. But things were real. So, as I said, like we always do, I picked myself up. Let's do this. So for the next 15-20 days, this was my routine. I picked up my helmet, sat on a motorbike, usually on the rear seat, and I happened to be the only person in town wearing that helmet, going to 20-25 retailer outlets, selling them my SIM cards. Zonal head was right. They weren't buying. Why? I had no clue. One fine day, I was following my routine again. Picked up my helmet, into the market on the rear seat of the bike, and it suddenly started raining. We stopped on one side and asked for tea. As I was sipping my tea, I said, बारिश में चाय का मजा ही और है. There's something about having tea during rains. And there was a reply. Sahi pakde hain, he said. I turned to him, smiled, and thought, I had heard that before. So I picked up my phone, looked it up, and had found a TV show. Back home, I watched 3 back-to-back episodes of that show. And I thought, I have understood the language. Next day, I cracked 3 outlets. Subsequent days, I cracked even more. By the time my stint ended, that area had a functional distributor. Now, there were other things that fell in place too. But what was more important, or the most important, was the fact that I became relatable. I could talk in the language of the retailers. That was my ticket to success. And that was the fun that I had in Wasipur. But as things are, it does not end here. So this pug company, after my adventures in Wasipur, thought I was good enough. Oh, by the way, this is me with a picture for my grandkids, telling them that I did go to Wasipur. So as I said, the pug company thought that I am good enough to go into the digital stream again. And I was in Bombay once more. And they made me in charge of a recharge app that had just come along. And it was the cricket season. A campaign was to be planned. What do we do? How do we make people download this recharge app? The agency partners, the brand team, my team, we were having sleepless nights. What to do, what to say. Time is approaching. And relatability came back into my lives. And a certain set of white characters called Zuzus were back after a 7-year hiatus into the campaign. Why? Because they are relatable. Because if they tell you that this app is good, you might actually download it. The campaign became a success. There were multiple downloads. It remained a success. But who had thought that one small lesson in Wasipur will affect an India campaign? That is how life is. That is how life treats you. And as I said, life does go on. So a few years in, I was back in Delhi, this time with a consulting firm, and I was leading their marketing function. I started off as the India lead, and then they said, Sid, you're doing well. Let's put you in charge of Southeast Asia and Middle East. Bam, Sid was going places, international markets and all. And I was on 7th moon, if there is any in this world. Like any other guy who had got hold of international markets, I had to plan my first campaign. The CEO asked for some promises, and I made some lofty ones. X leads, Y dollars of revenue, and we'll be on 7th moon with me. And what you see on the screen were the results in the first 10 days. Single digit leads, no revenues. What has happened? The dreaded summon had come again, this time from the CEO. And as I was preparing for that summon, my marketing head came over and said, Sid, do you know the best things that we can do as marketers? And he said, KYC, know your customer, he said. You are a champion in India. You know what the customers want. You know the customers in India, sometimes at the back of your hand. But can you say the same for people sitting in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi? Over the course of next 10 days, there were multiple virtual sessions, sometimes over food, sometimes over certain kind of drinks, with these people in Southeast Asia, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, getting to know how they sell, getting to know the people they sell to. And the light bulb that sprang to life had the answer. We in India love all-in-one solution. A plumber who could double up as an electrician is a dream come true for us. Does not work that way in that part of the world. They love specialists. You want to fix a light bulb, there is a specialist, they love him. And if you want to do remote hiring, they want a specialist solution. Once that insight was in, the numbers that I had promised were achieved. And the CMO had a smile on his face because the lesson he had taught me had got to me. And these three became the lessons that I had learned over the course of my corporate journey. But the most important part was that by learning these lessons, the one lesson that I'd learned, which became my competitive advantage, was having fun. And that is what I want to share. Never, ever, ever stop having fun. Because that is what will lead your path to success. You will find other lessons in life, but none better than having fun at what you're doing. And that is precisely what we're missing right now, especially in the field of marketing. Why? Because we're fearful. AI will take our jobs. ML will come in. And To talk about it, I thought about a story and I read about it. Back when I was a kid, there was this chess player that was the most coveted chess player, Gary Kasparov. Now, Gary Kasparov has famously said that no supercomputer will be able to beat him till the year 2000. So a tech giant took it upon themselves and in 96 challenged Gary Kasparov to a chess championship. Gary Kasparov accepted, the challenge began, and a few moments into the match, Gary Kasparov lost the first match. Everyone was silent. Over the course of next few matches, Gary Kasparov came back and won. After the championship, someone asked him, how were you able to defeat a supercomputer who could calculate 200 moves per position versus the human mind's capability to calculate just 3? He smirked and said, once objects are in position, the strategic motives are defined. I started with common opening moves, tricking the supercomputer into believing what I am going to do next. And I changed my tactics midway. After all, it was learning from what I had done. And that is the essence of AI today. You are the ones who are masters of AI. It is learning from you. And you are the ones who can change course. You are the ones who define authenticity. So play with AI. Have fun with AI. Do different kind of things. Don't be scared. Don't ever stop having fun. And this fun will help you make AI your ally and grow. And before I close, I'm sure you must have heard of a guy named Masayoshi Son. Once, when talking to a founder, he asked, in a fight, who do you think wins? The smart guy or the crazy guy? The reply came in, the crazy guy, of course. He was right. But the humble truth is, not all of us can be crazy. What we can be is fun, our own kind of fun. Don't ever stop having fun. And I want to leave you with one question before I go. When was the last time you genuinely had fun? Think about it if you don't have an answer. It really works. Take it from a guy who did it in Wasipur as much as he did it in Delhi or in Bombay. Thank you.